Mm-hmm.
Do I want to tell the writer what I would have written?
You clearly can because you can't even speak.
So
Hey, sweet mates, and today we have another episode for you guys. We're going to be reviewing Sylvie's Love, and it's a movie that has so many talented Black actors and actresses, and I think we're going to have a good one for you all. So let's get into it. For me, instead of Sylvie's Love, I think this movie should have been called Sylvie Gets Her Own Way because there was no real conflict. Sylvie had a baby by somebody else, and the man married her. When she was ready to leave, we didn't even get to see that. We didn't get to see him leave. Is he still in the child's life? These are the things I want to know. Like but to me it was very upsetting that what's his name, Robert, pretty much dismissed the fact that she kept the fact that he had a child for 5 years. He was like, I don't like this, but okay, I guess I could be her father and your husband now. Let's live our life. I didn't like it, that part of it anyways.
I thought so I know he was sad about, like, oh, I have a child. How did I not know? But I feel like for the circumstance that he was in, made it seem like it was, I was just joining the family. But I feel like if he was still working, because he wasn't, remember when he found out he had a child, right? He came back into her life, but he wasn't with the band no more.
Right.
I feel like he was very indifferent because of his circumstance. Like, I don't know.
Because he couldn't provide, that's what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But no, but like if someone finds out they have a child 5 years later, I feel like he needed some more emotion, at least for the initial part. He was way too like,
But that was his personality.
I think we missed the initial part because
so then they left out everything again.
Well, he saw a picture of the child earlier when they slept together. She was like, I can't leave because I have a daughter. And I think what was supposed to be portrayed was that he asked, like, whose child is that? He was supposed to see the resemblance from the picture, but he didn't. He got upset, like, dang, that could have been my child. But the gag is, it is your child. So when he finally does find out that it's his child, it's like,
I feel like they could have done a better job of showing more stuff like that. Like that was left out to me, and also the fact that Dickie was obnoxious. So when he left the band, I would have loved to see how Dickie reacted to that, because he didn't even like the fact that Robert was being called the genius behind the band, although his name was on the band. Like there was a lot of scenes I thought should have been added, because it was 2 hours of a movie, but it felt like the beginning part of the movie to me.
Interesting.
Their romance, like if we go back, like their initial meeting in the record store and him seeing her and all of that, I thought that was really a cute way to meet. Him getting the job. And then when he realized she was engaged, I already knew he was the type of man who was like, but I love her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. So when we fast forward to 5 years later, when we fast forward to 5 years later and he finds out about the baby, at first, I think to G's point, I just feel like he felt, wow, like we did have something special and we did have a kid. And I also felt like it's something that the cousin said that I really didn't agree with. It's like sometimes you love someone so much that you have to let them go. I really didn't agree with that. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why he was okay with her not telling him. I think he understood her.
I think this whole movie kind of revolved around if you love them, let them go. Because that's what they did, like, the whole time. I loved you, but I didn't want to keep you back because I was pregnant, so.
Yeah.
And then I loved you, but I see that I can't provide the life that I want to provide for you, so I'm going to move on, you know?
Yeah. I did not like the way he did that at all. You said what?
I didn't
Either.
Isn't that a saying though? Like, if you love them, let them go, and if it's real, they'll come back or whatever the case may be. So I guess it was that kind of. Now, on his part, the way he left, that's not no coming back thing, because it wasn't as if he said, he didn't give any information. It was just like, I'm going by myself. Like, you're not coming.
Well, he didn't go back. She went to him.
He went back to.
She went in the end. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I would not have. I don't know. I can understand why she didn't say anything when she got pregnant. Like, that's one. You was engaged. Two, from the jump, even when they first met in a record store, she made it seem like she was just gonna be a housewife. So I guess she probably was like, you know what? My fiance, the life that my mom wanted me to live, I'm not gonna hold him back. Versus him is just my pride. It wasn't because he loved her, my pride. That's what I felt. Because what is it to say, I'm gonna go back, work in the factory, stack some chips, y'all stay here. Then I'm gonna make some moves, make things shake. No, he was prideful.
And left her and his child.
But that was a different time, though. We're talking about the 1960s.
Yeah.
I guess.
And a man who's in a band and trying, like, and when he went to Motown, because he thought he was going to work at Motown, like, I can see why his pride was hurt, because he put all his eggs into one little basket, and then how can he tell her, the woman who's living out her dreams in 1960s as a Black producer, oh, I don't have a job, I'm just gonna stay home? No, I completely understand where he was coming from, if we're thinking about from that perspective.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But Big Time lied, like
lied.
Wasn't nothing big about him. Just his talk. Maybe that's why they called him that. Anyway.
And his size. Come on.
Yeah, he was a little thick. Thick.
Speaking of thick, like this movie had a plethora of Black men. Like, if you want them short, if you want them tall, light, dark, thick, like they had so much. And I was like, okay, all right, do your thing. Yeah. But yeah, I like that.
Okay, I got something to say.
Go ahead.
When Robert first got the job and he met Sylvie's dad, and dad was like, yeah, I used to play music in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I was like, I bet he was at South Carolina College, because at that time it was college.
No, you mean Orangeburg, South Kakalaki.
Yeah, that's what he said. But all I was thinking was, I know he was at South Carolina College.
Mm-hmm. But okay, I want to talk about the mother. So she seemed, Eunice, her name's Eunice, for anyone out there. She seemed very uppity, but she was married to what seemed like a broke record store owner. A broke record store owner.
I was wondering where her advice was coming from, because I'm like, literally, you guys are having the same love story as your daughter. Like, did you have some regret? And to your point, why didn't we see a conversation of, I love your dad, but we're struggling and we're not where I want to be. Yeah. I don't want that for you. Why wasn't that a conversation?
And then when he first inquired about the job, the help wanted side, and she explained to him why the purpose of it, and she was like, she made it okay. The way at that point I thought, her dad was the Black side, and her mom would have been of a different race, because she was like, I met him at a cotillion, whatever it's called. And he was chosen,
Cotillion?
and it's people, I don't care. And it's people there who are wealthy and blah, blah, blah. So I know at that point, I'm like, oh, she did for the summertime with Pops, but, the mother's making some arrangements. The mother came to the shop and I was like, you nobody special? Like, who is she? You probably sweep the floors like the rest of them do. Like, stop playing. That's part of the disrespectful.
Well,
and it's wrong. That's not what she do.
I was a debutante, and that's like popular. It's popular in Black history, cotillions and stuff like that. It is a coming out ceremony. But to your point, if you don't know like the history of it, it's kind of like who she thinks she is. But when she said a cotillion and she was a debutante, I was like, now, girl, like it's not. It is prestigious and it is important, but it also was like, this is something that Black people do. Okay. Like the way she kind of explained it, it did seem like she was talking about a white mother.
Yeah, the way he looked at her, like, you in an arranged marriage? Like, oh, y'all got money? Like, oh okay. So that's why I was like, oh, so she's one of those. Like, probably don't want to be married to the person. And then I was just like, oh, But that mother, okay, why did she have an issue with him calling him Mr. J, though? Was it because it's like, you're not family? Or we're not
name. I think because back then, like, you don't call your elder Mr.
And your boss, maybe, yeah.
And then she's over cotillions. It's about being formal, and that's not formal at all.
Tell the little girls how to stand properly. Like that scene, I was like, oh, she's
y'all
serious.
See how old do y'all think Sylvie was?
17, 18.
17, 18.
Oh, okay. Because 19, I thought 20. She was in her 20s. My bad. But when she came home, did y'all see the mother come out with like a big stick, like she was about to beat her? I was like, you beating this grown woman? What's going on? But yeah. And also another scene they didn't add. We never knew how the mother felt about her being pregnant before she was married. We never knew how she felt about the divorce. Or when he came back, like I felt like because they introduced so many characters, we should have seen more scenes with them because we knew their personality.
And I really, really loved and appreciated, even though the color kind of threw me off because I was kind of like, why did Darcy girl got to be like a little harlot in the movie? But I loved her relationship with her cousin. I really thought that was special, and I wish that they had more scenes together, especially during the pregnancy. Like, why did her cousin eventually start doing like civil rights stuff? Like, I wanted to see that growth, and I was so mad we didn't get that.
I did like the cousin's little relationship with Regé-Jean, I think is how his name's pronounced. Like, he was very charismatic in the movie. Simon from charismatic in the movie. And I really liked that little scene. Even though we knew they weren't going to make it, I liked how that relationship was portrayed.
Yeah. And I like that her friend wasn't like, even though they portrayed her, as you said, like a harlot, she wasn't uneducated, non-passionate, like got nothing to do with herself.
Right.
Kind of character. So I like, even though it wasn't, like you mentioned, the whole industry, music or whatever, I like that they gave her own purpose and everything too. But I wish they would have, like you said, developed her character more too.
Did y'all catch the shade though when her cousin said the only reason why you're engaged is because somebody found you messing around with Lacey? And I was like, wait, so she get down, but y'all make it seem like she's so innocent?
I did not pick that.
Yeah, no.
When they were on the roof, they were talking, and she said, the only reason why you're engaged is because Aunt so-and-so saw you messing around with Lacey. And I was like, so why did they try to make her seem so innocent?
I do remember that.
And she was engaged, but she was not acting engaged on the roof. She was going in for an engaged woman. And for their first kiss, though, what did y'all think about that scene?
At the stoop?
It was scary. I feel like if anybody run up to the stairs to try to kiss me, I'm going inside because you two.
I don't think it was scary, but he was acting like a little school girl. I was like, oh, okay, that's new.
But I think that was his charm, because what he stopped her like, where I'm from, at the end of the first date, you know, we give a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction was like, bro, but we not where you from, so.
But she wanted that kiss though.
She did. She absolutely did. And then he also, like, I've noticed a lot of the times, at least in the earlier scenes, he wasn't really making a lot of eye contact. So the run up the step was also kind of with his character, but it was just like, sir, you look grown, like, calm down.
He went from wearing glasses to no glasses at all. And I was like, what's going on, Clark?
Well, yeah, like maybe when did contacts get invented? Because maybe he was able to afford some. He's in a band now.
No.
Okay.
Speaking of band, that manager. Okay, what was the lead? He wasn't the leader.
The one who owned the band, Dickie Brewster.
Okay, Dickie. At least when they went to that whole event with that woman, I don't remember her name.
The manager who came, the manager in the end?
Yeah, the one who became the manager. I thought they would have like had scenes showing somehow where maybe there would have been a conflict between the members of the band, because the fact that they never had a manager made it seem like that wasn't their move. Like they didn't want to have a manager, especially since music, everybody was coming up in the industry and everyone is hopping on the manager. You know, manager taking money and all that stuff. I really feel like there should have been more, because all he did was, when did she become our manager? Don't worry about, I don't know, bro. Don't worry about that. Like, I really feel like they should have a scene showing like some kind of back and forth or between the fact that she all of a sudden became a manager, but we know why, because she was with Diggy. So. Yeah.
And he sold their whole livelihood for $500. I was like, I wonder if they got any of that money though. I doubt it.
Probably not. That's why later on Robert was like, why do you have this big lavish house but we can barely afford anything?
And he said because everything was in his name, right?
Just trifling.
Did y'all, as soon as, for the first scene, did y'all realize Carmen was Eva Longoria? Because I didn't. Only later when I was like, oh.
And I was like, who asked for this? Because her character was irrelevant. And then, like, to me, her character brought nothing, but she was promoted in the first credits. So I'm like, oh, she's going to have an important role, and she really did it. I didn't need that.
And another thing they left out, did she stay with him when she found out he was with the man? Like, there were so many unanswered questions to me.
Yeah. But I think it was the fact that it's called Sylvie's Love. It was. Yeah.
And I agree, but still, even with Sylvie's story, I had questions.
I'm wondering if it was that easy and simple for her to transition into the position that she got in. Like, and I know she started working for the production company where the Black woman owned it. So maybe that helped her since she was the only one, I guess. Oh, the first one, I don't know. And when she left, it was like, okay, I'm gonna give it to another Black woman. But I just felt like it was too easy. But it was a time lapse. It was. So it was a time lapse. So maybe...
I like that though.
No, I liked it, but it was kind of easy. But I loved it.
Yeah, because it was like, I'm looking out for you. Because at first I thought she was gonna say, "Oh no, girl, you got to go someplace else." But when she said, "No, I put in the work for you," I feel like sometimes it can be that easy when, because she was putting in work. It wasn't like she wasn't doing much.
That's true.
Oh, speaking of that, when she first started the job and she asked the lady about the food, I was like, that's so smart, because I didn't know what, if it was me, I didn't know what my family was gonna eat. Dude. But also, that's the thing with the first husband. What was his name?
Lacey.
Yeah, he accepted her But he gave her stipulations like, I know this is not my child, but when I get home, I want dinner on the table. And when I have something, that's what we're going to do because I'm here with your child.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like
liked when he actually explained where he was coming from, because he was like, I do love you. I do accept you for who you are, but you outgrown me, because you forgot when they first got married. This is the same Sylvie who was like, oh yeah, whatever you want. Like, come on. And he went to war. Like, come on now. Like, Korean War. Like,
but he did say, I allowed you. That word right there. Whew. I allowed you to take a job, but as long as it doesn't come in front of your responsibilities at home. And I was like,
and he also told her, I could have chosen anybody in Brooklyn or wherever it was. And he said, and I chose you. But then when
that was true, he probably wouldn't have chosen her.
That's the point. But then when they separated, when she sat him down and she was all like, I don't want this no more. He told her, I always loved you. It was just your love was somewhere else, or your heart was somewhere else.
Yeah.
That doesn't match up to what you said earlier, but sure, if that makes you happy.
We'll accept it.
I think he was just talking mess anyway. I just think he was talking because he was mad.
I have a question for you guys though. What do y'all think of the fact that she was engaged but still looking into Robert? Do you think engagement means, or is it still up for grabs? But married, she did cheat on him while married though. I think that should be a harsh no. But what do you think in regards to engagement?
I think engagement.
What did you say?
Engagement. What did you say?
Well, as you can see, anytime she had a ring on her finger, she did what she wanted to do. So it's like the behavior is continuous. And I hate
Sylvie gets her way.
Change the title.
I guess that's what it should have been. Sylvie's way.
Mm-hmm.
I think engagement is a solidified commitment. Now, unless someone messes up, like, do I think like, okay, like if he decided obviously like, oh, you stepped out, I found out, let me walk away from it. But on her part, I don't think it's like I'm engaged, but I'm still out here searching and looking and taking suitors and, but I felt like, I guess like you said, she does what she wants at the end of the day.
But then again, like DW said earlier, their engagement was based on them being found messing around on the roof. If they'd never been caught, she'd never been engaged.
I think engagement
that don't make it right though. Let me be clear. That don't make it right. That's just, it is what it is. If she'd never been caught, she wouldn't have been engaged.
Engagement does mean commitment. I just think him being in war, for her, it was probably like, well, if you don't come back, I need an option, to be honest. Like, because she was still pretty young. So I feel like she should have been more committed. But if the relationship started off based on some BS, I can see why she was looking in other directions.
Yeah.
I definitely like that.
What did y'all think about the father telling him though? I understand he was dying, but before I knew he was dying, when he told him, I was like, sir, that's not your place though.
Nah, I think knowing his daughter, like I think he knew she wouldn't have said something. Because remember when she came home, he was all like, did you tell him? I'm going to tell him. What are you going to tell him? I'm going to tell him. I don't know how, and I think he knew at that point, like,
she wasn't going
I don't know how many years or times went by, but it was like, I'm about to die. And he still don't know. Are you playing? Hey, let me just let you know this. Like, and I don't think she.
What can you say? You can't do nothing to him.
I feel like, okay, I really feel like if she wasn't going to be successful, she would have told him. I think so. Because since she has something going for herself, think about it, since she has something going for herself, Okay, I ended up marrying this guy. He knew I was pregnant, not by his kid. He still stuck with it. Got my job, got my foot in the door. Now I'm running the business. Like, I'm the producer. I'm doing everything. I'm changing stuff up too. I leave him because I'm not really in love with him. If I tell him I got my own job, I got my own money, I'm taking care of my daughter. It doesn't matter. So I really feel like if she wasn't stable or successful in the position that she was in, she would have told him. That's how I feel.
I didn't feel that way, but I could understand what you mean.
I think she would have told him.
I think she would have.
Yeah, I think she was still scared. I think she was still looking at it as it was 5 years ago. Like, would he still choose me? I don't think she ever wanted him to choose.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I'm loving basketball stuff. That's what it is. At least that's what I thought about when she said I didn't want you to choose. I never asked you
for your heart. Okay.
But I don't know. But don't you? I don't know. I feel like as an adult in a relationship, especially when it involves a child, you're gonna have to choose. Like, now I'm not gonna spell it out for you. And even if you don't spell it out yourself, but this one option, you don't pick the option, that's it. Like, it's not gonna be it's your decision. No. We gotta
Especially with a child involved. It isn't a dog. It's not like a house or separated assets. It's a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
and that's another thing that was left out. When did the daughter find out that's her dad, or is that her uncle? Like, come on, like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Like, I wanted to know so much more than what they gave me.
I forgot.
At the end of the story, we don't even know how old the daughter is.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, because they did say like
some time went by while Robert was working in the.
True.
But they didn't say how much time. But I'm
exactly.
assuming.
So we don't know how old she is.
All we know is they're together and they were painting at the end if you watch the credits. But if you didn't watch the credits, you didn't know what happened. Yep. It was just like, okay, that was it. Bye.
And that scene where he was like, well, I guess we're stuck together. Like, I like the sentiment they tried to portray, but it was just kind of the delivery. I was kind of like,
dry.
Yes. And then I was like, so we don't get to find out anything about it. And then I did watch the credits and saw them, like, pictures of them on the beach and whatever. And I was like, I guess, but they could have still, like, did a little more at the end, because it's the last thing people are seeing. So why not really
give it to them?
Because it left me wanting more, but not in a good way. You know what I mean?
Maybe there'll be a sequel to this.
Now I'm thinking what you mentioned, all these characters, like y'all said, there's like missing scenes that's probably needed. What was the point of having a kid? He could have just up and left.
Conflict they didn't show any conflict in that movie to me.
But the conflict could have been, because especially since I didn't watch the credits, I just turned off. But especially since y'all mentioned at the end, it's pictures of them two. Was a kid in the picture?
Yeah, she was. I think she was like on the beach walking.
Yeah, they were on the beach playing with the sand.
Yeah.
Stuck in the sand somewhere. She was barely in the picture, even when it said 5 years later. When she first showed him the picture of the child, we didn't see the picture of the child. We just saw him looking at a piece of paper. So my thing is, the conflict could have just been, oh, my fiance's coming back. Well, what are you going to do? That would have been a better conflict, because it's like, when I met you, you knew I was engaged. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. Why have a child? And we just, you sure that's not your...
I don't think they meant to have a child, Miss C.
I think she means the writers. Why write in a child?
Well, I think that's one of the risks of.
And then for her not to introduce her. And then not to introduce her as, I know the first time at the swing set, you're not gonna, that's your dad. Okay. But even when he left.
No, girl, what?
She said,
okay, but even when he left, I said, I know, like, I wouldn't, like, this is your dad. Like, no, that's not gonna work. But even when he left, are you gonna bring me back a gift? She called him. I could have sworn she said, "This is Mr. Robert. Let Mr. Robert push you."
Yeah.
Why you asking Mr. Robert for a gift? You've been around too much, Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert, your dad.
And did she ask, like, where's daddy? Does she still visit this man? Like,
well, she didn't really say much throughout the movie at all.
Then Lacey, like you said, where's Lacey's role in it? Because they got a divorce, he was in that girl's life as her dad. So where's the blended family? Like, that could have been a good conflict too.
mm-hmm.
You probably said it's not my child. But I did want to point something out where at the funeral, Sylvie basically repeated something that Robert said earlier, something about life is too short to not go after what you want. That's when she had made her decision when her dad died, because Robert decided to live his life when his mom died, and Sylvie decided to live her life when her dad died.
That's a good catch.
When his mom died?
Before the movie even started, but he talked about it on the roof.
Yeah, when he was running up the stairs real quickly. You remember that? He was like, I'm living my life. It was just, going 0 to 100.
And I think that's the theme of the movie, like doing stuff. What is it? Life's too short to do things that you don't want to do or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
That was obvious because they had no boundaries. Oh, you're engaged?
Yeah.
Oh, you're married? We're still going to do this. Like,
or the door's locked. I could use a hairpin to unlock it. That's criminal.
Yeah. I would definitely rewatch it though. I felt like it was really cute.
Good. It was good, but there was more that I wanted to know. That's the only note, but I liked the story.
Yeah.
But good on story.
Yeah. So yeah, I give it a 5 on story. It's a 5-star chick. That's a 5.
Yeah, I think 4 because it's lacking some stuff for the story. How much do you rate for the story?
5.
For what it had, the story was good.
So cast
5.
I liked who they cast. Yeah, they acted well too.
They did. I give it a 5.
Acting.
See, no Elliot.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5.
The setting, it looked like the 60s. I wasn't born, but I was like, yes. The music, yes. So all of
outfits,
the settings, yes.
The wig,
the mustaches.
Those acts are horrible.
I give it a 6. Yeah, so when that man was talking about Orangeburg Kakalaki, that made it a 7 because I know he was in South Carolina College.
So that's it, sweet mates. We really liked this movie. We think you should check it out, or maybe you should have checked it out before you watched this. So tell us what you thought in the comments. Bye.
See you later. I don't care where you sleep, but the couch is mine.
She's always there. Someone's gonna be like, she always sleep on the couch.